What's going on, beautiful people? Today is November 27th, and today I'm going to show you what a lack of confidence looks like. And it's pretty clear. This has been happening for a couple weeks now. I took one trade today, and I broke even at zero. It was a really decent trade in my mind, but it was poorly executed, and fear kind of took a hold. Just, the lack of confidence and the fear kind of played together. If you don't have the confidence in your trades, then the fear starts to creep in that that the trade's not going to go in your favor. So those are the really big emotions today, but otherwise just a single trade. We can start with like a little bit of context here. We have been still kind of in from the 15,800 range to like the 16,100 range, and this is after a pretty large run up that we've had, where it's a run up, consolidate, run up, consolidate, run up, consolidate, and we are up here at a pretty important level, I'd like to think, but a little bit of context, kind of a strange area that I've been trading in and kind of struggling overall. But today's action, I want to open up on the 1 minute. And it happened kind of midday. I woke up this morning with a little bit of a headache, and I actually was deciding I wasn't going to trade unless something was perfect. So not necessarily perfect, but I did like what was happening and how everything played out, but wanted to kind of go over the specifics here. Right off the open, we had a liquidity grab right over the overnight high, a quick sell-off to grab yesterday's low liquidity, and then had a little bit of sideways movement, but this is plenty of room to actually make a play. So what I like to see here was this. I had an order block from the previous day, and I saw a couple of rejections off of here, 4 to be exact on the 1 minute time frame. I did like the reaction here off of the fourth test of this order block. I liked the reaction. I liked the move away from the OB. I was originally looking for a short position, considering that this was actually the fifth test of this area. But I liked where we stopped here. So this would have been this note. I just said it took liquidity here, so we had some liquidity building up here for long positions. And this initial move would have stopped out anybody who got long here or down in this area. So I like that it took the liquidity, at least for the long position, but it retested and I had a 30-second order block. This one's a little bit clear. I did not take this position, just to be clear, but this is what I was thinking just prior to it. I liked how we had this little pullback and then another dump shortly afterwards. But again, I didn't really play that today. This is the position that I played. We did bounce roughly here, and one of the main things that I've been looking at is NQ having pretty large retracements, and so I drew a Fibonacci retracement level. Let me go out a little bit further. So I drew this Fibonacci retracement level from this low to this high here, and I've been keeping an eye on how far NQ retraces, and I've noticed that on kind of like the intermediate time frames, like the 5 minute and the 15 minute, these long movements, they do have pretty big retracements. I'm trying to minimize getting chopped up in these smaller moves, when usually there's some sort of larger retracement here. So if this is the main move up and then this is the main move down, this ended up being just around 79% retracement of this original move. And I like those deep retracements, and the order flow still looked pretty bullish. So we had a low here, we had a higher low, and we're still putting in, with the exception of the open. This is a high, this is a higher high, this is, I guess you could say, a higher high, just because we did break above it, and still higher lows through here. So order flow looked pretty bullish. I was pretty happy about that. I liked how it retraced very deep, still did not break below this low here. And what I was looking for, and I'll delete this retracement, or this fib tool, and I'll draw another one. So what I like to look at is where it actually does stop, and then where we get some buying pressure, which is, pretty close to this original spot here. I like to let this play out first and see if, we can catch any late longs. And I think when those late longs come to the party, then there's going to be some sellers that pull them back down. I like looking for this second opportunity to go long here. And if you watch one of my more recent videos, this was one of the things that I had been struggling with lately, which was the entry to these. So I would recognize that we stopped here. It's hard to catch this because this entry seems like catching a falling knife, and just doesn't seem like a great entry point. This here seems like a much better entry point because we are gaining, we are supporting at a higher level than, if this is your low, this is your low, we are still trading above this level here. So I do like the entries here. And the long, pretty decent long positioning, right? Because if we're going to do a fib tool from this low to this high, if this is just a mini version of this over here, I like the retracement. Again, here's 78, 79%. Again, pretty close to that deep retracement level. I think it's similar to the optimal trade entry as far as ICT is concerned. I think it's the 50% up 79%. So that was another thing that I really liked. I also had decent stop positioning. So entering this, instead of entering up here, this would be a really deep stop because I would really want to keep my stop below the most recent low, especially when you have such good entries. It's easier to put your stops in a better position. So I do like having it, pull back even more, put my stops here. A couple of things. I was actually really happy with the trade idea. Again, it, obviously in hindsight, it would have worked. So I wish I would have stayed in the position, but I exited early due to a lack of conviction on my trade. And, it sucks that it's taken this long to kind of build back my confidence. But ironically enough, I did break even on this one trade, but seeing it play out, seeing that I had a pretty decent entry, a decent stop loss, decent profit targets, really it helped bolster my confidence. So hopefully I can continue to get a couple more of these as I enter positions and maybe actually make some profit instead of breaking even for today. But I'm slowly building back my confidence, which is fantastic. But I entered long on right around 16.13, set my stops below this low here at 16.0 or 16.005 probably. And I was, unfortunately, when I got in, immediately afterwards, you can see this kind of chop right here in this range. And that's where things started to, I was in for, how many minutes is that? I was 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. That chop, I should have just set, I should have just set it and just walked away because it would have worked out. It would have been super easy, a super simple trade. My stop loss was fine. My profit targets were fine, and I should have just walked away. And instead, I micromanaged the trade after I was in it. And I decided that the second it broke above my entry point, I would just, I moved up my stop to break even. Like I hugged the price level, and it went up a little bit. And I was like, okay, this is great, but I just don't have confidence in the trade. So it snapped back down really quickly and stopped me out. That kind of sucks in hindsight, but the point being is that I'm building up decent trade entries, profit targets, and I did want to kind of discuss this trade that I put on was one NQ contract, and what I was also doing during that process was I was setting my profit targets as if I was going to be sizing up to more of like my full size position, which is 1 to 2. I like 2 when the trade is, when I'm confident in my trades. So my original profit target was right here at this swing high, which was 16.026. So that would have been 13 points. This would have been my first, assuming I had 2 contracts, this would have been my first profit target. But since I traded the 1 NQ on this trade, that was my main target on this one. So again, it would have, had I just waited 5 to 10 minutes, it would have I would have hit my target. And then my second target was actually this high, or this swing high right here at 38. And again, I would have hit that second target. So, you know, this is, I'm excited. I know I broke even, and it's not, you know, super flashy to talk about, you know, breaking even. I didn't have a ton of profit, but I'm excited. This makes me feel good. It makes me feel encouraged. Yes, it's not great that I exited due to my fear, but that is a correctable thing with gaining back my confidence. And this is a very long-term game of, can you learn from your mistakes? Can you come back? Can you correct yourself? Can you minimize your mistakes? And I think looking at the trade that I put on and just seeing how structurally sound it was is really encouraging to me, and I'm excited to be able to hopefully replicate similar trades in the future. I really do like this one. I like the deep retraces on you know, NQ. They've been really good, and I liked how I had decent profit targets, and this was a trade with the higher bullish, higher time frame trend. So a lot of confluences. And now that I'm looking at it, we were pretty close to getting a bounce here at VWAP. So again, that could have been another confluence. And you know, I'm slowly gaining back the confidence. So, you know, if this is valuable to you guys at all, learning any lessons from my mistakes, you know, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.